Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex. Today we're going to be taking a look at the demo for ANNO Mutationem on the Nintendo Switch. Now I played this on PS5 originally, really liked it, so I wanted to highlight the Switch demo that recently launched. I'll be breaking down what the demo includes, the mechanics, the story, and then the performance including frame rate. With that though, hit subscribe for reviews and deals near daily, and let's get started. If you are thinking about grabbing this one, then head to cornershop.gg for your discounted eShop credit. You'll get 10% off with code CORNER, and it's going to be instant delivery via email, so it's going to be a win for everyone. Story then, and this one we take on the role of Anne, a young woman in a cyberpunk world. The demo, it covers events from assisting our father in delivering a book to uncovering the fact our brother is in trouble with, let's say, some more than shady individuals. We also find out we suffer from an illness that we are trying to cure, and the fact we are going through what seems to be some form of combat training. Being a demo, it leaves more than a few of these topics on a cliffhanger note, but I think it does more than enough. It's definitely enough to entice you, and yet it starts simple but quickly evolves. It also does a fantastic job of introducing this world that can quickly transition from technologically advanced to almost think dystopian. We even get a few side quests to overcome as well, and a ton of items to investigate that often further develop this world. I just love the fact, and you'll quickly notice this, you can eavesdrop on conversations from so many of the characters that fill this world. You can even partake in conversations with them. It just feels very much alive, and it allows us to briefly visit 3 separate locations. I just love the shift in tone that's constant as well. It feels in keeping with the cyberpunk idea, and my favourite location in the demo, that's going to be the underground science lab where we are seeking a cure. Gameplay then, it's an action RPG, though a creative combination. We get almost 3D locations for exploration before diving into what is 2.5D for combat and action platforming. The first note I will say, the exploration in the demo is better represented than the combat. The combat is simply 3 separate scenarios over what is a roughly 45 minutes period. These are kind of early steps. Please do know that it definitely evolves, and it definitely hints at that. Starting with the exploration though, I love this. Controls are simple, it's essentially movement and interaction. Here though, we can meet those that live around us, we can visit the different locations, we can partake in mini-games such as retro arcades, or even a cocktail and mixing experience at our father's bar. We can even then find a few side quests. My first opportunity, finding food for someone that is living underground. There's also just a huge amount of items here as well, which can be sold at the local pawn shop. We don't really get enough in the demo to make much in the way of cash, but it's definitely a nice, again, introduction. Likewise, we do find the weapon store. Again, couldn't afford anything, but in the full gamer, this may become your favourite stop in this world. It's not just items to sell either. Many items simply add context to the world in what is a text form. Think tablets, or maybe, local newspaper cuttings. The 2D element then, it kicks in when platforming or combat is required, and naturally it expands upon the control scheme. It's not a particularly easy game either, I'll tell you that up front, but the demo, it packs an easy option as well, should you prefer that. As I said though, we're getting 3 sequences here. There's a virtual reality practice run where it seems we're kind of undergoing coaching, as well as what is 2 real world scenarios involving what I'd describe as our brother's situation. The shift though from 3D to 2D, it works surprisingly well given the game's unique visual presentation, and in these early moments we can jump, we can dodge, which provides invincibility frames, we can melee attack, and then finally we can shoot. We also get introduced to the idea of finishing blows should you deplete an opponent's shield, though this, it's definitely the final few minutes of the demo experience. These attacks as well, they cannot be implemented frequently. There is a cooldown of sorts that you will need to work around, but that's a good thing because it adds an element of strategy alongside a mastering of the mechanics. Really enjoy the combat though. We get multiple strike types, the gun it auto locks, making you feel like a badass, and we can even defend should we want, a slower pace to the action with a shield. If you want to make things go boom even, just throw a grenade or two. Having played the full game though, my one comment again on this demo, it kind of wraps things up with a foot chase. It's a nice display of the controls, don't get me wrong, but I do feel it doesn't quite represent just how fun that combat can get. It never quite delivers on the intensity that I know is to come here. The positive at least, your progression, it will carry over to the full game should you decide to pick it up. But I can't help but feel maybe, a few auto-unlocked weapons and abilities would have helped give a better picture. Here we are basically though restricted to a pistol and a sword and those basic mechanics. Trust me though again when I say it evolves quickly, and that's going to be thanks to a 3-stem skill tree. It is in depth, and thankfully you can actually take a look at that in the demo and see what is to come. I'd also suggest take a look around that gun store too, it also paints a picture. Outside of that though, the menus, we get a backpack for items. That's everything from loot to sell to those that you can leverage, think like health packs. We get a mission tracker and we can purchase some items, very small things, think food, just due to the extremely limited amount in our bank accounts. Frame rate then, and I ran the 3D moments and 2D separately. That revealed that neither are locked. It's always fluctuating between what seems to be, at least in this early stage, between 30 and 40 frames per second. While at times it may look aggressive in its movement as well on this graph, it's worth noting it nearly always felt smooth, so I'm definitely not too concerned. I can see arguments though here for simply locking out at 30, especially in the combat encounters. The 2D sections though, I did note they were slightly more stable. That's a positive because here realistically that is when you are relying on the highest level of responsiveness for your inputs, but also you want that consistent feel to the combat. Visuals then, and it's stunning whether 3D or 2D, it makes this fantastic use of pixel work but presents it in a modern fashion. I think that really plays into the cyberpunk ideas, though in each location feels unique, from neon washed streets to dingy side alleys. I cannot name another game that looks quite like it, maybe outside of Cloudpunk. Menus then simple but suitably futuristic, and yeah, I was really happy with the resolution as well. Handout then, I tested as well. This far it all seems good outside of some text documents. They are approaching what I'd describe as the smaller side, but I didn't struggle, and I wear glasses myself to give you all an idea, so I'm not exactly over here, rocking 20/20 vision. Compared to the PS5 then, the main downgrades I'm seeing to this point, it seems to be a slight reduction in the number of pedestrians, though it still feels extremely alive. The shadows have been dialed back dramatically, which has some minor impact on the depth of the image, and finally, textures, they've been slightly dialed back as well. There's also some very minor popping as characters are walking around. Honestly though, extremely minor, I still think this one looks absolutely stunning. Audio finally, good stuff. Sound effects wise, it's minor environmental effects, but it works to bring each location that extra bit of life. And attacks and combat in general, it sounds solid, but it's really the music that is the winner. Naturally, it's a smaller sample here, but like if synthwave is your thing, you need to give this entire soundtrack a listen, even if you do not pick up the game. So look, the final verdict, and it's a demo. Check it out, it's completely free, and see if it's going to be for you. You can make that call for yourself here, and I always respect that. I do feel it could have done a little more on the combat front of things, but I do have that advantage of experiencing it on the PlayStation 5 side of the world. It does at least as well give you this fantastic window into this world, and then it kind of hints at what's to come, from the weapons to the skills to the minigames. I hope to have a full review though come launch here on the channel, but if not at release, shortly after. The demo though this far, it suggests we've got a good port on our hands, and hopefully it finds that audience, but also throughout the entire experience then, maintains that same quality. A demo in general though, honestly, it just always gives me confidence. It kind of screams we are not only proud of our work, but we're confident in what we are going to be delivering to you. Let me know in the comments below though, will you be checking this demo out? Maybe you've played it already, let me know in that case what you think of it. With that then, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals near daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.